All right, we are going to get started. Welcome to everyone. We've got a packed house today. Thank you all for spending time with us here this morning. This is a regular meeting of the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners, October 22nd, 2025. No, it's the 23rd, isn't it? Doing this. It's the 23rd, sorry, October 23rd. I'm a little behind the times. We start our meetings with silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join us in silent prayer. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's do introductions from the dais. Christy, I'm going to let you get back to your seat so we can do that.
Christy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, Commissioner.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Patrick Dressing, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
And I'm Commissioner Denise Driehaus. I'm going to make a motion that we excuse Commissioner Reese.
Second.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
And a motion that we approve of the minutes of the previous session.
Second.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move into public comments. We've got a number of people here to comment today. Thank you again for being here. I'm going to do these in the order that they were received. So if it's incorrect, blame the clerk. Our first speaker is John Espy. And when you come up, please come to the dais. You've got the pleasure of the floor for 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning, President Driehaus, commissioners, and staff. My name is John Espy, and I'm here today representing the Loveland City School District as the district's Chief Financial Officer. I appreciate the opportunity to address you regarding the potential doubling of the homestead exemption and owner occupancy credits. Relief for seniors is vital, but so too is sustaining the funding that educates our children and prepares the next generation. The conversation cannot be seniors versus students. We must design solutions that protect vulnerable residents today while ensuring children have the opportunities they deserve tomorrow. That is why the Loveland City School District stands firmly in opposition to this proposed change, as it represents a significant and immediate threat to our ability to meet our students' needs. Loveland City Schools provides above average results at below average costs, ranking among the state's top 10% of public school districts on the recent report card. The immediate financial consequence of this proposal would be a financial loss of over $527,000 annually, a $500,000 cut that directly impacts the staffing, resources, and programming essential to our students. We ask that you to consider the unique financial dynamics of our district, where our local residents already bear an exceptional burden. LCSD residents cover over 92.5% of our students' special education costs and approximately 90% of our gifted student programs. When we combine these two critical populations, they make up over half of our total school population. In effect, the local community is already responsible for funding the vast majority of specialized services for the majority of our students. A cut of over $500,000 annually would fundamentally cripple our capacity to maintain these critical services, directly undermining the quality of education for more than 50% of our students. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have two speakers on the card. It's Daryl Yater and Amy Wells from the Northwest Local School District. Are you tag teaming this morning? All right. That's right. So you've got 1 minute apiece, if I do the math correctly. So good luck to you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Board. I'm Amy Wells, CFO Treasurer, and this is Daryl Yater, Superintendent of the Northwest Local School District. We are here today to speak about the impact of the piggyback exemption for the homestead and owner-occupied tax credits. We agree that there needs to be a balanced approach to the property tax reform in the state of Ohio. However, the proposed reduction of $2.2 million in local funding, while providing some relief to the homeowners, without being replaced, will have a significant impact to our district. As a public school district in Ohio, we were required to file our financial forecast by October 15th. Our forecast continues to show that we are at the end of our levy cycle. Therefore, we will not be able to absorb this reduction and will only escalate our need for additional revenue as well as increasing reductions in our operations. This is just one of the many property tax reform bills circulating in the state that will negatively impact our students, programs, and services that we provide.
As one of the Hamilton County school districts with the lowest per pupil spending, any reduction has a real impact on our students. With 80% of our budget allocated to personnel, significant reductions in funding reduce staff who are a direct support to our students. Just last year, we moved from a 3-star district to a 3.5-star district, and we're only less than 1 point away from being a 4-star district. We are incredibly proud of the gains in student growth and achievement, as well as offering students experiences that make them well-rounded and ready for enlistment, enrollment, and direct employment. Reductions over $2 million, which equates to about 25 staff members, will slow our progress and have an immediate, direct, and negative impact on our students. We ask that you reconsider the piggyback exemptions, as while this attempt at property tax relief now will push us to the ballot sooner with new levies. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Skylar Miller. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Skylar Miller, and I'm the Delhi Township Administrator. I urge you to vote no on enacting the homestead exemption portion of House Bill 96. We fully support efforts to ease the tax burden on vulnerable residents, but this proposal, while well-intentioned, would shift the cost of that relief directly onto our local governments. Unlike the state's 2.5% rollback, which is reimbursed, the county's piggyback exemption would not be. Delhi Township alone stands to lose roughly $622,000 in revenue, immediately impacting our 2026 budget. That money we use to maintain roads, support public safety, and invest in community programs. These are not luxuries, these are lifelines. For context, a $622,000 reduction in revenue means no paving of township roads in 2026. Or it would mean my fire department drops from 14 to 11 firefighter EMTs on shift daily. That reduction in coverage would cause immediate brownouts to our stations, reducing our coverage and increasing response times to the residents that we're here to talk about and who need us the most. Combined, the 12 townships in our county would lose nearly $4.9 million in funding, and each community would face the same funding crisis that Delhi would. Respectfully, Delhi Township asks that you vote no on this matter and consider the long-term impact on our ability to serve our residents. A vote against this measure is a vote for community stability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Jenny Logan. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to provide public comment this morning. My name is Jenny Logan, and I serve as the Treasurer CFO of Sycamore Community Schools. We understand and appreciate the intent behind the proposed piggyback measure for non-business and owner-occupied credit. Property tax relief is a real and growing concern for our residents, and we agree that this effort, standing on its own, might have merit. However, we are deeply concerned about the cumulative impact of multiple property tax proposals currently being considered both locally and at the state level. While this particular measure may appear modest, its effect is amplified when layered with pending state legislation that could significantly erode the financial stability of public schools. For Sycamore alone, which receives 85% of its revenue from our local tax base, this proposal would mean an annual loss of approximately $1.2 million with no state reimbursement to offset that reduction. Our recently approved 5-year financial forecast already shows a projected cash deficit in 2030 In response, our Board of Education just adopted financial parameters to limit expenditure growth to 3.5% annually, a strong demonstration of our commitment to fiscal restraint and responsibility. At this moment, the prudent step is to press pause. We need to fully understand the implications of pending state changes before introducing additional local measures that could have unintended long-term consequences for our schools and our community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for coming in. Our next speakers, we've got two again, are Michael Gustin and Shauna Murphy. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners and staff. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Thank you for your service. My name is Shauna Murphy, and I serve as Superintendent of Cincinnati Public Schools.
And I am Michael Gustin, Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer of Cincinnati Public Schools.
And we together would like to speak with you about the proposed expansion or the piggyback of the homestead exemption and owner-occupied tax credit.
Based upon calculations provided by the county administrator, Cincinnati Public Schools will lose $7.5 million annually each year, or about 2% of our local property tax revenue if these measures are enacted. For context, this equates to about the salary and benefits of around 66 full-time teachers.
And over the last 2 years, our district has closed budget gaps of $32 million, and then just this past spring, $51 million. And while doing that, we maintained having the #1 high school in the state of Ohio. We may have reduced 100 teaching positions along with cuts to transportation, to facilities maintenance, and administrators in our school district.
This proposal also comes at the same time as multiple attacks on public school funding from both the state and federal levels. Just yesterday, the Ohio House passed House Bill 186, which will dramatically alter the 20 mil floor for districts like CPS.
And this proposal also includes reductions in funding to providers that impact our students in having a great school day. We rely upon the support of Hamilton County Job and Family Services, Children's Services, our libraries, and reducing access to our students and families will definitely be harmful.
The property tax relief is a noble goal, especially for those least able to pay. We would welcome a discussion of ways that also don't slash funding for public schools.
So, Commissioners, we feel we have worked really hard to build the highest performing urban school district. Thank you for your time.
You can finish your sentence.
Yes, thank you. And so we also recognize there is still much work to do. A sudden, unexpected reduction of $7.5 million will make progress that much more difficult. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Our next speaker is Daniel, is it Hoeing? Yes. Good morning.
Thank you. Daniel Hoying, General Counsel at Cincinnati Public Schools. I'll just add to a few points that the superintendent and treasurer just made. One is that based on the county's own estimation, Cincinnati Public Schools would lose more than any other taxing entity in the county if this proposal went forward, more even than the county itself. It strains the strong relationship that Cincinnati Public Schools and all our school districts have had with the county for this proposal to be considered without real engagement and consultation with the school districts that would be affected. This could not come at a worse time for Cincinnati Public Schools. An additional loss of $7.5 million would devastate our 26-27 budget. In the last 6 months, Cincinnati Public Schools has experienced a cut in funding at every government level, with the exception of Hamilton County. The federal government this summer delayed funding of Title III and IV funding, critical funding for us for some of our enrichment programs, such as advanced placement, international baccalaureate programming, serving our multilingual learners, and it caused CPS to have to file a lawsuit to have those funds released. The state budgeting process, as Treasurer Gustin mentioned, has been a disastrous process for Cincinnati Public Schools, and Cincinnati Public and several other districts in the county would face a severe cutback in funding if the changes that are proposed to the 20 mil floor go forward. Even at the city level, for the last 2 years, 2 school years, there's been cut in services, including crossing guards. CPS has been solely responsible for the crossing guard program. So at every level of government, with the exception of our strong partnership with the county, we've had our funding cut. For years, Cincinnati Public Schools has been able to rely on its partnership with Hamilton County. Hamilton County DDS educates some of the highest needs children in the county and at Cincinnati Public at the Margaret B. Rost and Bobby Fairfax schools. We urge the commissioners to reject this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I think it's particularly of note that everyone that has spoken, when that beeper goes off, you're educators. You stop talking. I mean, we don't have this kind of behavior from most people. So thank you for being respectful. I mean, I love that educators are like, oh, my time's over. Anyway, it's very refreshing. Our next speaker is Elena Cropper.
Good morning. My name is Alana Cropper, and I serve as Treasurer CFO for the Forest Hills Schools. I appreciate the opportunity to share how the proposed property tax exemption alternatives would impact our district. We all understand that property tax relief is important, and many families are feeling the pressure. But it's critical that this relief is done in a way that still allows our schools and other essential services to be properly funded. Over the years, the shift of education costs from the state to local taxpayers has placed a real strain on districts such as ours, and this proposal will make that strain even worse. Forest Hills is a high-performing, medium to low-cost district. Our residential millage rate is right around the county average. Our cost per pupil is about 10% lower than state average, and the revenue we receive is about 15% lower. Right now, the state provides only 18% of our general fund revenues. The rest comes from the continued support of our community, which has consistently stepped up at the ballot box for us. However, if this proposal moves forward, it is estimated that Forest Hills would lose about $1.7 million in voter-approved revenue. That's the equivalent of 70 teachers for us. A loss like this will have a direct negative impact on our classrooms, on our staff, and most importantly, the programs that we can offer to serve our students every day. Real and lasting property tax relief will require the state of Ohio to take a greater role in funding our schools. We all understand that property taxes are a growing concern. And thank you.
Please finish your sentence.
We all understand that property taxes are a growing concern and meaningful relief is needed. But any tax relief effort must also ensure that public schools and essential county services are adequately funded so that our communities can continue to be safe, strong, and desirable places to live and raise our families. Thank you so much for your time and your service to our communities.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Steve Bain.
Good morning, County Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Steve Bain. I'm the Treasurer and CFO of Oak Hills Local School District. After watching yesterday's meeting, I felt impelled to share our story at Oak Hills as it regards to the expanded homestead exemption and piggyback initiative. Before moving forward with the piggyback initiative, I wanted to share a little bit about the profile and resume of Oak Hills School District. Oak Hills serves 45,000 taxpayers as well as over 7,000 students. Our district is the third largest in Hamilton County and the 27th largest in the state. Our mission, just like every other school district, is to provide a high-quality education to all of our students. Our product that we boast about is our students that grab their diploma and walk across that stage and ensure that they are college and career ready. Our mission has been achieved. We continue to strive for excellent education, which was evident by the most recent report card, which we were a 4 out of 5 star rating. From a financial perspective, Oak Hills Local School District spends less per student than every district in the county, with the exception of one district. In other words, we provide a very high quality return on the community's investment. Let me make it clear, we are all for tax relief. But Oak Hills has stretched our cash reserves as much as possible, and we simply can't tighten our belts anymore. Our district provides state-level minimum with regards to transportation. We're amongst the lowest in the county as far as administrators with relationship to a student ratio. Keep in mind, Oak Hills has only had one operating levy in the last 28 years. That's one tax increase in the last 28 years. And even with the large reappraisal, Oak Hills' tax rate is still in the bottom third of Hamilton County. I bring up the rules of the game. State funding. State funding was ruled unconstitutional in 1976 or 1997. The rules of the game were established 50 years ago. And as Commissioner Driehaus mentioned yesterday, those rules are unconstitutional. To conclude, for the preservation of public safety, children's services, the partnerships that we all have here with our local entities, we urge the county commissioners to oppose the exemption and expansion of the homestead and rollback. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Our next speaker is Jessica Miranda, County Auditor. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Jessica Miranda, your Hamilton County Auditor. I'm also a proud homeowner, a former state representative, and a former local school board member. I bring those three perspectives to this conversation as someone who has seen firsthand how state policy decisions impact both our local governments and the everyday Ohioans we serve. For decades, the state of Ohio has failed to uphold its constitutional responsibility to provide equitable and adequate school funding. The DeRolf decisions made that clear, yet here we are, 30 years later, still relying heavily on local property taxes to fund what should be a statewide obligation. At the same time, the state has repeatedly pulled back its support, slashing the local government fund and shifting public safety, infrastructure, and human services costs onto counties, cities, and townships. What used to be a partnership has become a one-sided relationship. The state gives with one hand and takes with the other. Now, with House Bill 96, the state is once again dressing up a cost shift as relief. Whether it's through an inside millage cut or a piggyback option, those proposals don't actually fix the problem. They just move the burden around. Expanding the homestead exemption without the state paying for it may sound good politically, but it pulls real dollars directly from local school districts and local governments who already have built their budgets on projected first half 2025 collections. The result? Districts will be forced back to the ballot with more levy requests while taxpayers see only marginal short-term savings. That's not relief, that's a revolving door of instability. The state has options. The state has the funds. They just lack the political will to use them. So today, I say to you, my duly elected hardworking colleagues, let's not take the bait. Let's not participate in yet another tax shift that further destabilizes our local governments. Instead, let's stand and send a united message to Columbus. True property tax relief must be paid by the state of Ohio. Our schools, our first responders, and our local communities cannot continue to bear the weight of the state's inaction. If we keep shifting the burden downward, we're not solving the problem. We're simply digging the hole deeper. The state needs to pay its fair share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Lenora Godfrey. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, commissioners and staff, for the opportunity to come before you. I'm Lenora Godfrey, the President CEO of the Hamilton County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. And I'm here speaking on behalf of social services. The Mental Health and Recovery Services Board contracts with more than 37 providers for the provision of behavioral health services across the lifespan, serving children, families, and our elderly. We provide early intervention services, prevention services, and crisis services. Post-COVID, data reflected nationally that there was a 373% increase in the need for behavioral health services. There was also a 164% lack in the workforce. Implications to the loss of services to those would be who are most vulnerable if this provision goes through. The behavioral health services are supported by 3 levies, and they're slotted to lose over $2 million. 800 and some thousand is strictly mental health services. The loss will shift those individuals to the roles of other county departments that are also slotted to lose funding. The Mental Health and Recovery Services Board is currently preparing its 2026 budget and has already budgeted a shift and loss of federal and state funding of over $2 million. We ask for a pause and a reconsideration of the property tax exemption and piggyback initiatives. Once the local entities absorb these costs, the state relieves itself of its responsibilities. So we just ask for a reconsideration on behalf of the clients that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Dr. Kareem Moffitt. Welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner President Driehaus and Commissioner Vice President Dumas, thank you for the opportunity this morning to speak. I speak to you not just as board president, but as mother and advocate for over 35,000 students we serve every day. Cincinnati Public Schools has fought to become one of the highest performing urban districts in Ohio. That progress came through hard decisions, community partnership, and a belief that every child deserves opportunity. Over the past 2 years, we faced more than $30 million in budget gaps, resulting in the loss of 100 teaching positions and cuts to transportation, maintenance, and support services. Now, this proposed tax expansion would take another $7.5 million each year, about 2% of our local revenue, equal to 66 classroom teachers. We understand that families need property tax relief. I do too. But this proposal, as written, shifts the burden to our children. It takes resources from classrooms, counselors, and programs that keep students safe and learning. We're not here to oppose relief for homeowners. We're asking to be part of crafting a solution that helps families without hurting our schools. Our students are Hamilton County's future. Let's not undo years of progress by cutting the very system that prepares them to lead. Thank you so much for your time and partnership, and we're looking forward to working together to support public education and our Cincinnati Public School students. Together is how we will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Frank Birkenauer.
Thank you, Commissioners. I don't have any prepared remarks. I just found out about this last night, but I just want to say, on behalf of the Greene Township trustees, Greene Township is the second largest jurisdiction in Hamilton County. We would take the biggest cut of any township in Hamilton County of over $1.3 million. This $1.3 million would certainly be cut back on our safety services. We were just voted a few years ago the third safest community, larger community in the state of Ohio, and this would negatively affect our ability to provide quality safety services. We're also one of the fastest growing communities in Hamilton County. We had over 300 housing starts last year. So our need for safety services is growing. And in my opinion, working over 30 years in township government, this reminds me of when Kasich in the state of Ohio cut all of our funding, and we had the largest local property tax levy increases in decades. I think property tax reform, we have empathy for those who are struggling, but I think it has to be on the state level and not on the backs of the local governments providing services. And I urge you to not enact the piggyback proposal and to recognize the services that we all provide on a daily basis that will be negatively affected by this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker is Bart West.
I'm Bart West from Oak Hills Local Schools, school board member, not representing the whole school board, but myself individually as a taxpayer. First of all, just take a little different direction. Property taxes are too high. There's no question in my mind that they're higher than they should be. And this is based on what the state of Ohio has done and not what the county commissioners have done or the local school boards. The reason taxes are so high is Ohio refuses to fund schools at the same level of all their surrounding states. All 5 surrounding states fund schools at a higher level than the state of Ohio. In Oak Hills in particular, they've given us less than 1% increase every year. As you know, inflation, increased number of special needs students that we have, 1% does not keep up with that. This cut alone would cost Oak Hill School District $1.8 million a year. We're already second lowest in per pupil spending, and it would affect districts differently, but it would severely impact Oak Hills. We would lose funding for 21 teachers. We have one school that only has 24 teachers in the whole school. So when you're spending very little per student and you experience a cut like this, I am big time in favor of property tax relief. I think the burden should fall on the state of Ohio. They're the ones that caused the problem, and they're the ones that should fix the problem. They have refused to do anything other than lower the ability of local schools to pass levies to deal with this problem. So that just puts more of the burden on the homeowner because they're going to have to run on more levies. But the state of Ohio needs to deal with these issues, and they just refuse to do so. So I hate to see the county have to step in and do what the state do, and then their students suffer for that. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else here to speak to this issue that didn't fill out a card? Make sure that you have the opportunity. We do have one person en route that would like to speak to this issue. It's Representative Bill Blessing, or Senator, I guess he's Senator Bill Blessing. So with your deference, Commissioner, when he gets here, I'm going to allow him to speak. He just is on the road and running late. So just want to thank you all for being here. You know, as we make decisions as a county commission, we have to understand what the impacts of those decisions are. So it is not just the county that would be impacted by this piggyback, but it was also be all of you, all the local jurisdictions, all the school districts, the levies that we so count on to provide services to the citizens of this county, especially those that are most challenged. And so thank you for being here. It gives us the context for this decision that's in front of us. I do want to share one piece of information because we've been tracking, I'm sure you're very astute as to what's going on at the state, and I appreciate that because that's unusual. I used to be a state rep too, and we felt like nobody was following what we did up at the state level. But this is so important and so dramatic. I think that we are all trying to pay attention to what's happening in the different scenarios that are playing out up at the state level. So there was some action taken yesterday, and I do just want to highlight it, and I've asked Jeff to look into it a little bit because it impacts us as a county, but it also impacts all of you. And that, in your case, for the school districts, House Bill 186 is part of this conversation, but from where we sit, House Bill 335 is the one that impacts all of us. And so I want to talk about this very quickly in two ways. One is when a number of you talked about the constant reduction of revenue to school districts through a number of different bills and what the state's doing. So 335 limits the rate of growth or revenue to the rate of inflation as we move forward. I personally think that, as we say, that's got legs up at the State House and is likely to pass in some form. It's passing the House, it's gonna go to the Senate. We know there's some interest in property tax relief, but you are correct that as we reduce our ability to raise revenue, both at the county and in the school districts, we are already providing that relief to the taxpayers on the backs of all of us that are impacted by House Bill 335. And so if we limit to the rate of inflation, we get less revenue, and we're already paying that price. Now, the flip side of that is that relief is provided. Everybody has said we need to provide some relief. We all want to be part of that solution to a point, right? So we're not bankrupting the levies or the schools or the municipalities, the jurisdictions. And so there is relief coming because this is likely to pass. And so it will not allow for those jumps in property taxes that people have seen in this most recent cycle because we're limited to the rate of inflation. And so from my perspective, that is coming. And I've talked to our lobbyist up at the state level this morning. He also thinks it has legs. And so this idea that we're contemplating this piggyback seems premature because there's already something going on at the state level that's going to reduce your budgets, reduce our budget, and provide relief. So I feel like the piggyback is, as was said, a way of shifting the responsibility. I've talked a lot about tax shifting over the past years, about the state relieving themselves of the responsibility and putting it on the locals. And we've been seeing this for the last decade or so. And so, I'm not in favor of bailing out the state and having them. They've given us the toolbox, the tools to piggyback on the homestead without giving us anything in the toolbox. right? There's no money associated with that toolbox. And so they say, well, you can do it, but y'all have to pay for it because we're not going to. And in the past, it has been their responsibility, and they have stepped up and paid for this, and they have the capacity, as I think Auditor Miranda said, they have the capacity to do it. And we are under a strained budget cycle, as many of you may know. So again, thank you all for coming in. It's very important that we understand the context for the decisions that we're making, and you have really put a fine point on it. And so I thank you all for coming in. Commissioner Summer-Dumas?
Thank you. All of you have been tremendous advocates for this issue, and I appreciate that. Appreciate you coming in. I would have you speak for me. I'll remember those names because I feel the passion that you have that will impact all of us. The impact is tremendous. I just want to say, when I look at the numbers, and they're worth repeating, and I will, in case you were not listening to the other speakers and trying to get your, but when we talk about Loveland, $527,000, it would have less money for you. Northwest, $2.2 million. Dale High, $622,000. Sycamore Township, $1.2 million. Cincinnati Public Schools, $7.5 million. Forest Hill School, $1.7 million. Oak Hill School, $1.8 million. Mental Health Board and Recovery Board, $2.0 million. The Green Township, $1.3 million. And then we had the taxpayer who came in who gave us the information on Oak Hill. So this is nothing to take lightly. We're not going to take it lightly. This is something that impacts lives, jobs, services, and education. And we have to, as you were saying, the state needs to take responsibility. I have not made a decision either way, but this is something that's going to, of course, Hamilton County is going to impact Hamilton County government as a whole. So I just thank you so much for coming, and we are listening.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming in. You're welcome to stay.
I think we should take a picture of all of them that came. I think it would be a very powerful picture.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Well, do you all want to stay? Do you want them to stay where they are, and we'll come down?
However you want to do it, Madam President.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yep.
We don't want you to get away.
Go down there.
I know you weren't ready for a photo op, but here we are.
Cover that.
I heard you were great. Yeah. You're the greatest administrator ever. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. One other public comment. It's Ronald Spears. I believe this is on item number 19. Please come forward. Got the pleasure of the floor for 2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much for everything that the County Commissioners does for us. As the mayor of the Village of Velma Place, I just wanted to show my appreciation for your partnership, for the contributions that you make into our community. We feel that the contributions that you all make has shown to be a catalyst that's leading to increased growth increase economic development in our community. And again, just we wanted to thank you for your partnership with our village and for your considered and your continued interest in our community.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I just want to put some reference around this. So this is about the revitalization grant
Yes, ma'am.
that you received from the county. So we don't often hear people come in and thank us. So we are very delighted, and Elmwood Place is very important to the county commissioners. So thank you so much for being in partnership with us.
Thank you. And again, we appreciate your partnership with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Very good. All right, I have no other public comment cards. So let's move into the rest of the agenda. Comments and motions from Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple things. Just in the last week, I had a conversation with Luke Blocker as it relates to tiny homes. And I'm very interested and initiated it on the board, and the board supported the opportunity for homeless veterans to have a place to stay. We're really looking at the land that's available and our ability to provide case management services for those that are in those homes. And so it's a continued process, and they are looking, CDF they are looking very closely at what we can do. We allocated $1 million toward that. I would call it an initiative to make sure that that happens. And so we know, but one great point is that veterans are not, there are not as many as that were homeless when we first started this that are now, but we know there should not, in my opinion, should not be any homeless veterans. So I'm really excited about where we go with that. That was through our ARPA money. And then last night I went to the Pitch and Empower event. It was awesome. I love it every time. We're entrepreneurs. It's like a Shark Tank, but not as edgy, I guess. And they were great. And just to be a part of that and to we got excited about it and who should win and who shouldn't win, and wishing we could vote and all this, but they are great. They will continue to be great, and I wish them the best of luck. And of course, if you're just getting on, we had lots of people who came as it relates to the property tax initiatives that are going forward, and the board will be taking a look at that. And this month, the end of this month, of course, ends Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I thank my colleagues for supporting the proclamation that we put forth. But it's not the end of providing awareness to all those who need to know, and those who don't need to know that you can help others that are in need, that are experiencing domestic violence. I've been researching as it relates to teens, and the number of teens that are involved in domestic violence has increased dramatically. And so that tells a lot about once they become adults and how they respond to what's going on in their environment. So I'm just want everybody to continue to educate everybody on that issue. That's all I have.
Thank you. Before I do my comments, Senator Blessing has joined us. Senator, I mentioned earlier that you were en route, so thank you for being here. We just heard from many related to this idea of a piggyback at the local level, as was said to bail out the state. So no offense to you as a state senator, but we're interested in your comments. So you've got the pleasure of the floor for 2 minutes or so.
Yep. So I'll make that brief, and thank you for that. You know, coming in as a Republican state legislator to a board of 3 Democrats, you might think that I would be in favor of this proposal because we did this in the state operating budget, but that would be incorrect. I am deeply, deeply opposed to this proposal. And I know you've heard, you know, from a lot of folks representing the schools, cities, and townships, you know, of how this would impact them. But in the end, this is a shell game in the sense that, yes, it was stated that we are giving locals tools to offer property tax relief, but all it really is doing is shifting around local dollars. But the real key that I wanted to put forth is that all of this is, as you know, having served in the state legislature yourself, directly linked to school funding at the state level. But there's also a local component to this too, that this piggyback property tax relief, in air quotes, what it will do is it's deeply regressive in the sense that, one, if you're a poor person, you know, living, you know, at a $100,000 house, presumably at, let's say, City of Cincinnati and CPS, you're on the 20 mil floor already. So the amount that you're going to get is much smaller than somebody in one of the suburban school districts that has not only a much larger and more expensive home, but because of the way school funding is operated, as you know, those wealthier school districts have to rely on more of their local dollars. So not only are they getting a bigger chunk because of their high home value, they're also getting a bigger chunk because of their large local share. So in the end, this is a very, very expensive and regressive way to offer property tax relief, and I'll just reiterate my opposition to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. You're so out of breath. I know it's like you took the stairs, but I saw you get off the elevator, so I know that's not the case. But thank you. It's really important that we hear from you and your perspective. Commissioner Dumas, do you have any?
Yeah, I was just thinking all the people that were here, I wish they had stayed so they could hear you. But I'm going to ask the clerk to, as we look at the people that were here, to ask them to look at and listen to you and what you said. I think it would mean a lot to them.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. All the bipartisan nature of what we do, right? It's very good. Okay, I just have a couple of things. I attended the Portman Center. I don't know if Senator Blessing is still here, but it was an across the aisle, across the river event where Governor DeWine and Governor Beshear came together and talked about civil discourse and about how we all need to get along, speak with respect to one another to try to get things done. And so I'm on the board of the Portman Center group, and so it was a really great event. It was well attended, and I think it speaks to this idea that, while we're trying to serve the citizens, we are doing it in a way that is productive and civil in order to get good things done. And so I really did appreciate them coming and participating in that. I also went to pitch night last night. It was fun. It was good. I did want to vote. I didn't. I was told I shouldn't, so I didn't. But I was very excited about the small businesses that were participating in that and being able to offer some assistance to them as they continue to grow their businesses in Hamilton County. And then lastly, there's a mammography bus outside. So I just want to remind people, if anybody would like to take advantage of that. I don't know what the hours are, but I know it's out there right now because I just saw it when I walked in. And then lastly, I wanted to talk briefly about SNAP benefits. We're going to have a press conference next week on Tuesday. We're going to have Michael Patton come in and talk to the board in detail about what it means to lose SNAP benefits in this community and who's impacted, how many people are impacted, and what they can do if their SNAP benefits run out. We're also going to have Greg Johnson come in from CMHA to talk about housing, because housing is also at risk if the federal government doesn't open back up. And so all of this related to the government shutdown. But there was an email that came out yesterday to this point, and I just wanted to make people aware of it since the press conference is not until next Tuesday. By the way, the meeting's at 10, press conference is at 11. ODJFS just sent some guidance to the local JFS about, and the words were, the recipients may not get their November benefits. And so that was the guidance coming from the state as of last night. So this is real. The government shutdown is impacting people in this community. We're going to hear more about it on Tuesday, but I did want to make sure that people were aware that that is the guidance that's coming down from the state, and it sounds very dire. So just to put that on the radar, more to come on Tuesday related to that topic. And Commissioner, I know that you yourself and Commissioner Reese and myself will be talking about this at length on Tuesday. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. We'll move to you, Administrator Aluda. Sure.
Just make a comment, Madam President. Just wanted to give my appreciation for your participation in the Property Tax Relief Task Force that you worked on for several weeks, and you had to go up, every week?
Every week.
To Columbus, and I appreciate your input and also the recommendations of the task force.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Administrator Aluda.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just a couple of comments and then one by-leave item. So I'm sorry I lost the audience of all the administrators that were here. I was just going to put in another pitch for our Shared Services Summit coming up on November the 7th out at the Anderson Township Government Center. It's at 8:30 a.m. We're going to be inundating them with emails, so they'll certainly know about it. But always looking forward to that event. I know Steve Johns is here from planning, so I want to thank him for his assistance on that. And as it relates to thanking people, also, I was not able to stay for the entirety of the Pitch and Empower event last night, as I know all the commissioners were, but just wanted to say thank you. We have, as the board knows, just an incredible team that pitches together to make sure that all of these events come off and go off without a hitch. And the same was from the moment you walked in yesterday to people greeting you at the door to people giving out programs. The county team was there to help, and I, in particular, just wanted to thank Kelly Adamson, Erica Thomas, Amanda Carter, and Robert Bell for all the work that they did yesterday. There were others as well, and I don't want anyone to go to be unacknowledged, but in terms of those four, they really pitched in to make sure that that event went off without a hitch. So just wanted to thank you.
Hear, hear, Administrator. Hear, hear on that, because they did a great job.
They did. So I also have a buy leave item for you, commissioners. This is buy leave one. The only buy leave in your packet. This is the board authorized a bond issuance recently related to the movement to the central campus. This budget adjustment does a few things. It allocates those bond proceeds to the project. It puts bond premium in a fund to help pay the cost of issuance. Importantly, it also, and not entirely disconnected from the conversation we just had, it returns the JFS cash advance to the project to make sure that that levy balance remains as solid as it can be right now. So there's about $53 million that JFS gave in a cash advance to this project for the purchasing of an acquisition of the Mercy Health building. This restores that. It adds $800,000 appropriation for some IT work that has to happen there, and it also shifts, it reallocates the JFS moving budget to the facilities budget, where it'll be paid and then reimbursed and reallocated through the indirect cost plan that we have. So happy to answer any questions, or more likely defer them to Mr. Bergen if there are any technical questions, but certainly recommend approval.
Commissioner Summer Dumas, any comments or questions?
No comments.
No, I think we're clear. Thank you for the information. I'm going to make a motion to approve of buy leave number one.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you.
No further comments or by leaves. Thank you, commissioners.
Let's move to the regular agenda. The engineer is here, Eric Beck. Eric, it looks like you've got two items on the agenda this morning.
Yes, good morning. Item number one is a resolution for a consultant agreement with Walpert for project 502406 Westland Road. It's a hydraulic study. It's located in various townships. The agreement amount is for $161,200. Of that, we received a federal flood mitigation assistance grant in the amount of $120,900. The remaining $40,300 will come out of permissive auto. We anticipate this engineering will be done in March of 2026. Item number two is the bid award for the 2025 thermoplastic epoxy program. Located in various townships, we opened bids on September 25th. A&A Safety was the low bidder. With our engineer's estimate was $216,000. The low bid came in at $140,784, about 35% under our estimate, and the funding comes entirely out of the Road and Bridge Fund.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the descriptions. Commissioner Summer Dumas, any comments or questions?
No questions.
All right, I'm going to make a motion that we approve of items 1 and 2.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, the next 3 items are related to MSD.
Good morning. Lauren
Can you
DeGaricia for
hold
MS.
one,
Sure.
for 1 second?
Yeah, if we maybe do that one. Number 7.
Are they here?
Yeah.
Okay. I apologize. We're going to take a little bit of a pause, knowing that your presentation might go a little long, as they do, as they should. But we have an appointment, and I didn't realize that that individual was in the room. Am I right?
Yeah, Keisha Lowry.
There she
Okay,
is. All right,
alrighty.
all right.
This poll is in the way. but
We
I thought you
apologize.
were
I
here.
didn't realize that's what you were here for. So
Okay.
this is item number 7. This is a resolution appointing a member to the Hamilton County VSC, the Veteran Services Commission, Kashawn Lowry. Commissioner, do you have any comment to this?
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Yeah, we had decided that each commissioner would get one representative. And so every representative I picked has been promoted or did something different. So I did some interviews. And so this is our selection for the Dumas office. So if you'd like to say a few words, you certainly can.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am very excited for this opportunity. As stated in my interview, when I left the Army, my service didn't just stop. I came back to Cincinnati because I think Cincinnati is one of the best cities in the United States of America, maybe even worldwide. So I wanted to come back here to serve, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to serve veterans. I didn't think that opportunity would happen, so I'm just so grateful for that opportunity at home.
Very good. And we're grateful for you. I'm sure you'll give some creative ideas like you did, innovative ideas as you did when we had our interviews. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Keisha Lowry to our VSC commission.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for your service.
And I think the first meeting is November the 7th, so she'll be able to go to that meeting. Okay. Thank you.
All right, MSD. Sorry, Lauren, here we go. Welcome.
I actually was going to attempt to be brief today.
Oh, you are? I'll hold you to that then. Okay, that sounds great.
I'll do my best. So we have
3 items. So.
Right, I do have 3 items. Director Christie is also with me today, as well as Principal Engineer Ian Lasky to help with any questions. Starting with item 3, this is a resolution to authorize an exception to Section 206 of our rules and regs to allow a structure to remain in an MSD easement. This is related to the Kroger gas station at the corner of Reed Hartman and Cornell Road that was recently constructed. An MSD easement and sewer cross that property, and as built, the small gas station kiosk structure is not on top of the sewer, but it is slightly within our easement. MSD has determined that there is a low risk to the sewer in the structure and is recommending approval of an exception to allow it to stay. Approving the exception entails authorizing an agreement with the owner and tenant that would allow the structure to stay in the easement, but the current and any future owner and tenant would be responsible for any damages that occur to the sewer as a result of the structure being there. Next is item 4, which is notification of the annual adjustment to MSD fees and charges. This is for entry into the record. Our fees and charges include things like tap-in fees, permit fees. They're not the rates that our customers pay. They are adjusted annually per our rules and regs and based on local prices for material and labor as published in the Engineering News Records Cost of Construction Index, which illustrated approximately an 8% increase over last year. So fees and charges will be adjusted accordingly for 2026 to be effective January 1. Last, item 5 is an operating budget adjustment, which will reallocate a total of $1,250,000, which is about 0.5% of our total budget, and it will be reallocated to various line items within the budget. This adjustment will accommodate projected needs through the end of the year, primarily for personnel. We're not requesting the appropriation of any additional funds, just a reallocation. The total will remain the same at approximately $241 million. We recommend approval.
Thank you very much. I just want to highlight that last point, that this is not an increase, but rather a reallocation of the dollars. Thank you for that. On item number 3, we have dealt with some issues related to people wanting to build over sewer pipes. So this one is just allowing something that already has been built to continue to exist in the easement, as you say. Was there a process then when this was built where they had to come for an exception to build where they did?
So the initial plans, my understanding is, did not show the kiosk being constructed within our easement, just outside of it. But I think these things sometimes happen once they're out there, and actually built it is slightly within our easement.
How does this even come to your attention?
Ian Lasky is here and oversees that and can
I'm
probably
just curious.
speak to that better than I can. Sure.
I'm sure you're not driving around the county looking
Right.
for buildings in your easement.
With our
so
surveyors, right.
just wondering how this came to the attention of MSD. Come on up. Don't be shy.
Ian Lasky, MSD. So, I'm sure as you're aware, when you design and you construct something, sometimes what you execute in the field isn't necessarily what was designed. In this particular case, there was a kiosk that's put within an encroachment space of our easement. So there's a 20-foot easement, then there's a 3-foot buffer. So a lot of times we recommend, hey, stay away from that. That way, it doesn't look like you're encroaching upon our sewer. In this particular case, when we do an as-built or someone just kind of goes and records where the final building laid, then someone kind of notifies us and we became aware of it. And I believe the person who reached out to us, the developer, made us aware of it, and we just kind of went through the build-over process because at that point we didn't deem it to be a risk to the sewer. We can still operate, maintain, and access it in its current shape. But yeah, it's not something we recommend, but in this particular case it happened and it doesn't pose much of a risk to the sewer itself.
Okay, great. Thank you. Really, really helpful information.
You knew that though, didn't you?
I did not. No, I did not. I'm very curious about this. 'Cause we had
Yes, it
some
is.
significant concerns about people that have purchased properties, wanted to build a house on the property, and it's over a sewer pipe, and so they're not allowed to do it. And so when we have something like this, it just sparks my curiosity because I want to be fair to everybody, and I don't know how things are brought to the attention of MSD when it comes to something like this.
We highly recommend that you reach out to Development Services. We have several people within the group there that can help advise on the location of sewers and kind of risk or things to be aware of before you purchase property or do anything on the property itself.
If only all the realtors would do that, right? The
Getting familiar with it
didn't
real
do
quick, yeah.
I mean, they had no idea. The homeowner had no idea and were surprised to know they couldn't build a house on the property they just purchased. It's a real problem. So anyway, thank you for the explanation.
That was great.
Yeah, that's all I have by way of questions. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
On item 3, there was a delay though. This came to us a while ago, and I was just wondering, why are we just now getting it?
There's sometimes timing can be short or long-term notice. It just kind of depends on when the information gets filtered to us. And then the process of actually working through an agreement can take some time itself.
You were waiting on additional information, okay. And then I see MSD 000. Well, this is a historical day. Yeah, that's all I have.
All right, so you're going to approve, I
Yes,
assume. So I'm
right.
going to make a motion to approve of items 3, 4, and 5.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let's move into the consent agenda.
Thank you, Commissioners. Your consent agenda begins with item 6. This is from the Auditor's Office, a resolution approving the revised capital asset policy for the county. This is largely an accounting document talking about how we account for capital assets in the county, how we depreciate them through the capitalization process, through the audit process, et cetera. Item 7, Commissioners, you've already taken action on, was the board appointment. Item number 8 are the actions of the county administration for the month of September. Item 9 is a budget adjustment. It's budget adjustment number 42 for the general fund. There's a transfer within municipal court, appropriation within contract and subsidies. Importantly, in here, there is a supplemental appropriation within the engineer's office of $3.6 million. That relates to several projects, including some storm sewer improvements on Galbraith Road, repair of a landslide on Pedretti Avenue in Delhi Township, and the contribution from permissive auto tax from the engineer to the Western Hills Viaduct project. Item number 10 is a credit card charge in the amount of $29 in environmental services. Item number 11 is the acquisition of one Ford F-150 for Hamilton County Job and Family Services, $40,480. Item number 12 is authorizing an agreement between the county and Aurelian for non-emergency software or software for non-emergency calls within our 911 office at $150,000. Item number items 13 and 14 I just wanted to call out because the board did receive a presentation on Tuesday about them. It relates to the awarding, execution of an agreement between KZF, this is item 13, KZF and the board related to design services for the Paycor Stadium renovations. Item 14 is a resolution authorizing the award and execution of an agreement with Messer Construction related to construction management services for Paycor Stadium renovations. The board received presentations on both of those on Tuesday. I just want to note that the full complement of team, Dwayne, Phil, and Joe Paul are here today. If there are any questions on that, I want to thank them for being here and their patience in getting to these items. Item number 15, Commissioners, is a resolution authorizing an agreement for an economic impact grant with Blue Ash. This is for $500,000. This is for primarily for a road network in the former Sharon Woods P&G facility site that Blue Ash maintains. Item 16 is a resolution concurring with the recommendations of the Tax Incentive Review Council for 2025, as that report was received by the board recently in staff meeting. Item 17, Commissioners, is an agreement between Job and Family Services and Cincinnati Works for foster youth emancipation skills training at $50,000. Item number 18, Commissioners, is a resolution approving a renewal and an amendment between the Board of County Commissioners, Job and Family Services, and the Buckeye Ranch for adoption and kinship assessment services at $240,000. Item number 19, Commissioners, is a resolution authorizing an agreement with the Village of Elmwood Place for $150,000. You heard from the mayor a little bit earlier in this meeting. This is largely for the investment in a public parking lot within the business district within Elmwood Place. Item 20 is a resolution authorizing an agreement between the county and KLKP Ventures at $174,000. This relates to the home program, affordable housing rehab of five unit properties. That is your consent agenda, Commissioners. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. I have no questions, but and the engineer's not here, but you did mention the Western Hills Viaduct. And every now and again, I will get a call or a constituent asking questions about the Western Hills Viaduct because the money that we appropriated for that happened years ago, as did the city's money. And so I know there is work going on. I know it's very complicated because the rail yard is over the viaduct itself, and it's very complicated by way of not only working with the railroad, but moving utilities. So can we get an update from the engineer? I don't know that I want to do that during the budget season because we're so booked. But maybe, and I'm also looking at Kevin, maybe at the beginning of the year, let's get an update related to the Western Hills Viaduct so that the engineer can bring us up to speed so we have the information we need as people ask the question. We don't see anything going on with the Western Hills Viaduct because it doesn't look like anything's going on, but I know work's being done. So if we could bring him in, let's say January, and start talking infrastructure come January. So that's all I've got. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
No questions or comments.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to make a motion that we approve of item number 6 and items number 8 through 20.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Having nothing further, we've got an executive session on the agenda. I'm going to move that we go into executive session pursuant to ORC Section 121.22 G3 to conduct a conference with an attorney for the public body concerning MSD.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse? Yes. Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here.